You're listening to Tuned Into NoCo. I'm Priscilla, and today I am speaking with Lyle Smith-Graybiel, VP of Community Development for United Way of Weld County. How are you today, Lyle?
Good, Priscilla. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Great.
Lyle, can you tell me, for those who are unfamiliar, can you please give us some information in general of United Way?
Yeah, so United Way of Weld County is part of the worldwide United Way network. A lot of people don't know that the first United Way was founded in Denver in 1887. And so all of the United Ways throughout the U.S. and throughout the world trace their founding back to Denver, which is a fun fact. Our United Way has been around, I think, since 1940. So for a number of years. And like a lot of United Ways, we have been fundraisers for most of our history. But more recently, our United Way has shifted more towards funding individual programs at different nonprofit organizations, and even more recently towards addressing how we can solve some of our greatest community challenges like homelessness, or the ability for children to read at grade level by the beginning of fourth grade, or those kinds of persisting challenges. We want to think about how our United Way can be a real problem solver for some of those in Weld County.
That's a really interesting tidbit. I didn't know that it started in Colorado.
Yeah.
So is it nationwide now?
So it's a worldwide network. There's about 1,800 United Ways throughout the world.
Oh,
Most
wow.
of those are in the U.S., but there are also United Ways in other countries.
See, I was thinking much smaller, and it's much bigger than I thought.
Yeah, and one of the unique things about the United Ways is that we're all separate nonprofit organizations. So we all look a little bit different. Like if you compared our United Way to the United Way of Larimer County, or Mile High United Way, or Pikes Peak United Way, just to give a couple other Colorado examples, we would all look a little bit different because we're so locally focused.
Right. So it depends on your community.
Yep, exactly. Right.
And how did you make your way into United Way?
So my background is actually in community economic development. That's what I did my graduate school training in, which is more of a focus on like an urban setting. I did my training in Philadelphia, so how to look at a neighborhood in a larger city and how does it kind of get redeveloped and have community improvement. And I was looking for a new job back in 2012. And actually our United Way had a new position called Vice President of Community Impact. And I don't live in an urban setting. At the time I was living in Frederick. I'm now living in Windsor. So I thought if there's going to be like a local organization that has that kind of idea of community-wide improvement, a United Way would be a good one for our more, we're kind of combo urban and suburban, but nothing like inner city Philadelphia or urban Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. But United Way is a really good fit for my skill set and kind of my aspirations.
You've been with United Way of Weld County since 2012.
Yeah, since 2012. And I started out in the role of working with all the staff that oversee our programming, what we do in funding other organizations and in our direct service programs. And then more recently, I've moved to a role that's more about like foundation fundraising and communications, and still do a little bit of direct service stuff.
That's a decade. Can you believe that?
Hardly. I mean, it's a decade, and in some ways it feels like 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I came on staff, and in some ways it feels like 20, because I came on staff in November of 2012. And the next September is when we had the Northern Colorado floods, that impacted thousands of households in Boulder and Larimer and Weld counties. So that time went pretty quickly. And
Probably
then also now with COVID is the same way. It's like those years, they seem like 2 months and they seem like
it seems like a blur, but it seems like forever too.
Right. Exactly.
How big of an issue is what you're trying to solve here in Northern Colorado and Weld County?
Yeah, so the kind of the four biggest, we have 5 initiative areas. We call them Reading Great by 8, Thrive by 25, Weld's Way Home, Aging Well, and Connecting Weld. And those all address different challenges. So like the Reading Grade by 8, the challenge is how to help more children read at grade level by the beginning of 4th grade, because until a child is, until up to 3rd grade, children are learning to read. And after that, they read to learn. So it's really important they're at grade level by the beginning of 4th grade. And then through Thrive by 25, we're working mostly on youth mental health and improving that. Weld's Way Home is about ending and preventing homelessness. Aging Well is helping older adults get the resources they need to live fulfilling lives as they age. And then Connecting Weld is about connecting people to resources. So in those first 4, it's not just Weld County, it's really throughout Colorado. Like we all know that housing is expensive in our area, and it's actually expensive all throughout Colorado, which is really surprising. There's no county in Colorado that a person can make minimum wage and to be able to reasonably afford housing. So these are, pretty big challenges, and that's why a United Way is needed. And along with, local government and county government, is to think kind of more broadly about how do we address these challenges in a way that will solve them over time, and also that they're interconnected. So, for instance, that price of housing. If a family has really expensive housing, that's going to lead to other stresses, like they won't be able to spend as much time with their children because they're working more, or it will lead to mental health challenges for youth because, maybe their parents aren't as available to them. These are challenges, but, it's something that United Way has taken on because this is what our local area needs.
And do you have any personal stories that you would like to share? You don't have to name any names or anything. I just didn't know if there was something that's always stuck with you or has stuck with you in this decade.
Yeah, right. Is that I'd say if 10 years from now, whether or not I'm with United Way of Weld County, the floods will have made such an impact on me personally. Because I had never been in that kind of a situation where we didn't get impacted by the floods. But to be in a work role or a personal role where, within just a matter of hours, people lost everything. I mean, I think about the fire that happened down in Louisville and Superior recently, how quickly people can lose everything because of a natural disaster. And that happened for about 500 households in Weld County back because of the September 2013 floods. And it was terrible. But at the same time, it was so good to see what the community did to respond to that and to bring resources to that and to be generous and to work really hard. Like about 60 plus organizations came together to help those families recover. And even greater, just for the future of what our United Way is about in this kind of solutions, the solving challenges mentality, is that every one of those 500 households was able to get to like a new normal after the flood. So that left a big mark on me, the floods, but also gave me some kind of inspiration and imagination for the future of how our United Way can work.
And that was difficult and crazy as it was, but you were brand new, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd been in the role for 9 months.
Yeah, that's a lot to take on. Good for you. Good job.
Well, at the time I was working with staff, and staff do most of it, but I'm glad that I get to work with those staff who are doing the right things in those kinds of circumstances and, day to day.
And for our listeners who want to get involved, how can they donate to or volunteer for United Way of Weld County?
So just go into unitedway-weld.org, unitedway-weld.org. Go in there, you can donate to United Way, and your donations, you can make to United Way just generally, or you could give to one of those initiative areas that I mentioned earlier, like Reading Grape Aid or Thrive by 25. And when you give money to United Way generally or in one of those initiative areas, some of it does support direct service programming that we offer through United Way, be it early childhood work that we do with child care providers or parents, or the work we do on ending homelessness. And then also we support about 60 plus other programs here in Weld County. So donations that come in kind of general designation, it could go to any of that just by giving United Way. And also at that website, we have a link to a website called Volunteer Connections, Weld County Volunteer Connections, that has an oodle of volunteer opportunities, both at United Way and in other organizations throughout the county.
And for people that are on the other side and need the help, do they just go on the website?
The website would be a good place. The best place, though, definitely is 211. So if you're facing a challenge paying rent or finding childcare or finding care for your older adult parents or a person you care for, calling 211 or going to 211colorado.org is the best way to find resources. That's a resource database that has around 8,000 resources throughout the state. And by calling 211, you can talk to a resource navigator and they can kind of do some light touch case management in helping you to find the resources that you need. And then also on the website, 211colorado.org is the same database. You just, search term and that kind of thing.
Lyle, does United Way of Weld County have any events coming up?
We actually have two events coming up, one in April and one in May. Actually, April 9 is going to be the Northern Colorado Children's Festival. This is an annual event that we have. Goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, April 9. And each year, actually, it's at a new location this year. We have been having it at Island Grove. This year, it's going to be at the Downtown Rec Center in the DoubleTree by Hilton. Children's Festival is about 60 vendors, 60 vendor booths, and some entertainment and some other great fun activities that's good for families and for their children. It's intended to be a opportunity for learning and for entertainment and for fun for the whole family. So that one's Saturday, April 9 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. downtown Greeley. And then the other one is on May 1. It's also happening in Greeley. It's Steps for Stability, which is actually a 5K, 10K run or walk that is a fundraiser for Weld's Way Home, which is the area of work that United Way does that works on addressing and preventing homelessness. So those two, Children's Festival on April 9 and Steps for Stability on May 1. And you can find out more about those and sign up for Steps for Stability at www.unitedway-weld.org.
Lyle, what do you think lies ahead for United Way of Weld County in this new year?
I think I'd go back to earlier answer, that idea of how do we look at these challenges in our local area from a solutions mindset. So we're trying to mobilize the whole community to end homelessness, to help every youth connect to a caring adult, to help older adults have the resources they need, and to help children read at grade level by the beginning of 4th grade. And just to keep kind of making that transition, because it's definitely a mindset shift that we need to have. And it doesn't mean that we don't keep doing what we're doing. You know, all of our partners, they are doing great stuff, and they need to keep doing that. And what United Way is doing, we need to keep doing that. And other funders are doing, they need to keep doing that. And at the same time, can we shift our mindset towards solving our greatest challenges? So that's one thing. Second thing that actually was on Town Square on your website, at least, Janine Trustwell, our president and CEO, is retiring after serving at United Way of Weld County for 36 years. Wow. She'll be on staff through the end of the year. And during this year is the time when the organization will find and hire a new president and CEO.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. And also sad, but exciting.
Yeah. Janine is an amazing leader and has solved a lot of challenges in her time. I mean, in addition to the 2013 floods, we led the long-term recovery effort for those. And we also led the long-term recovery effort for a tornado that happened in Windsor in 2008 that impacted a bunch of families. And those are two, little examples of the kind of leadership that Janine has provided during her time at United Way of Weld County.
And is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
I just encourage listeners to find out what's going on locally, to think local when you see challenges, human services challenges. They are out there, so pay attention to them. Know that generosity is important. Local generosity is important towards United Way or through United Way or to other local nonprofits wherever you live, be it in Weld County or Larimer County. Each one of our towns and cities have stuff going on, and I hope you'll be generous towards those causes for the good of the whole community.
Lyle, I want to thank you for coming on to Tuned Into NoCo and talking to our listeners about United Way of Weld County.
Thanks, Priscilla.
Again, that was Lyle Smith Graybeal, VP of Community Development at United Way of Weld County. Learn more at unitedway-weld.org.